Hello everyone, welcome to Weekend Shelf Control. I'm here solo today because I am doing a reading challenge that Liam is not doing, and this might be a bit of a long video, so I thought it best to go solo and just talk about these books. So I am doing HRCYED 3.0, which is the hardest reading challenge you'll ever do, which definitely will be the hardest I've ever done. This was created by Stephanie at the channel QWERTY, and I'll link her video below where she goes through all the prompts and all the details, because I'm going to fly through everything because there is a lot. If you do there's 25 prompts, but each one has multiple books, and if you do a different book for each one, I think it's 150 books. You can use a book for 2 prompts, but even 75 is probably pushing it a bit for me, and I don't want to adjust my reading and read short books to try and do it. So I'm going in between. There's the Ain't Nobody Got Time for This version where you just do 1 book for each prompt, 25 books. That's too easy. I don't want to do that. So what I'm doing is I'm going to make sure I do 1 for each prompt, but I'm going to try and do the full thing, but not caring if I complete it, just seeing how many books I can do. So what I have done is I have gone through all the books I have on my shelves and on my Kindle to see what I could place. I haven't got everything sorted yet, but I have time to film now and I don't know when I will again, so I just wanted to get this done. And I still have over 60 books here, so you know, it's not like I don't have things to talk about. So I am going to get started. I maybe went too far in that I have all the physical books in front of me to show them off to you rather than looking for little pictures later. So I like props. I like to see books. So let's get started. First prompt, choose your party based on D&D classes. I know nothing about D&D, so I just had to go with a broad thing. So starting with Druids, I have The Dark Mirror by Juliet Marillier. There's going to be a number of her books here because she's my favourite author, but I haven't read all her books yet. So I really want to fix that. So I've got that. Barbarian, The Blade Itself by Jo Abercrombie. Bards, back to Juliet Marillier for the Harp of Kings. And Sorcery of Thorns by Margaret Rogerson, which has been on my shelf for way too long. Second one is Titles with the Periodic Table of Elements, which I have 2. So I'm going to have to do some searching for that. So I have the Goldbug Variations by Richard Powers and The Silver Promise by James Logan. Prompt 3, Familial Terms. Quite easy. I have a lot of books with daughter, but I went with The Ringmaster's Daughter. My Cousin Rachel. I've been scared to read this because I loved Rebecca so much, but I do need to keep reading her books. Golden Sun by Pierce Brown. That doesn't want to focus. And Her Brother's Keeper by Beth Wiseman. Okay, this not focusing thing. Do I have to cover my face? There we go. Okay, first 3 done. Next batch of books coming. Okay, prompt number 4 is Traipse Through the Regions. I need to do more research on this one, but I do have Owls of the Eastern Ice, which is in Far East Russia. So this is my North Asia. And When the Deep Dark Bush Swallows You Whole for Australasia. This is set in New Zealand. I will probably just do the rest as I come across them and realize I'm in a different region. Prompt 5, choose your curriculum. This is possibly my favorite, and I struggled a bit because I had so many I wanted to include. I have gone with non-fiction for this because I have a lot of non-fiction books and I don't read them as often as I should for how interested I am in the subject. So first off, music. I have Beethoven. Then film studies, I have Cameraman, which is about Buster Keaton, but also history of cinema in his lifetime. The Simpsons and their mathematical secrets for maths. Quantum for physics. And finally, social studies. There Was Nothing You Could Do, because this is about a Bruce Springsteen album, but also about changing times in America when that album came out. Road trip. I left it in America, going around different states. So I have Sea Glass Castle, which is set in South Carolina. Using Her Brother's Keeper again. This is set in Pennsylvania. Blackwater. This is set in Alabama. And Don't Fear the Reaper, which is set in Idaho. Okay, next prompt is Bookception. This one, I will say I'm starting this challenge on the 1st of July going through because I have already finished a book that I want to include. And that is Whalefall by Daniel Kraus. And the book mentioned in that is Cannery Row by John Steinbeck, which I have a copy on its way to me, so I will have that soon. Then 8, we are into the not so secret prompts. So a couple of these are going to be ones that are done in the moment. And I haven't got them all, but what I do have, pun in the title, I have a book called A Night to Remember on my Kindle. So there's that. Childhood book that I missed. I'm going with Anne of Green Gables. Finally getting to that. Colour from Joseph's Coat. Joseph in the Technicolor Dreamcoat. I have Tuscan Rose. So rose is not used as the colour in this, but a rose is rose coloured. So there we go. Then I have author, last name is a first name, Donna Leon. So the next book I'm up to in this series, Death in a Strange Country. A book with craft on the cover. I have a quilt. The Memory Quilt by Lenora Worth. And first and last name in title, I've got The Seven Skins of Esther Wilding. Book that has the same title as another book. I actually even have 2 on my shelf. So I will be reading Into the Fire by Irene Hannon, which is the same as Into the Fire by Janine Frost. And finally, I have cover that features motion. I've gone for The 8 Mountains as he is leaping. Okay, cover styles, prompt 9. For some reason, I found this one difficult. So mine are pretty silly. I just wanted to get books into a second prompt in some cases. So I have cover that has a real person on it. I've got Man Muse Monster by Naomi Gibson. Illustrated cover, I have Dare Henry, Love Edith. I did have monochromatic title, but I've just realized the author's name is in a color, and actually the ship has a little bit of color, but let's just pretend it is only black and white. A big ship at the edge of the universe. I might have to pick something else for this one later. And finally, a cover that has foiling on it. Second prompt for the blade itself. Okay, next is one of the counting prompts. Let me prepare some books. Okay, the first of the counting prompts. So this one is the number of words in a title, starting with a 1-word title up to a 10-word title. So I have Legion by William Peter Blatty. 2 words I have on my Kindle, Zero Saints by... one second. Gabino Iglesias. Then The Pole Bearers Club. Dear Henry, Love Edith. Death in a Strange Country. Excuse my chipped nail polish, I haven't had a chance to redo it. We Are Legion, We Are Bob. The Trees Grew Because I Bled There. When the Deep Dark Bush Swallows You Whole. A Big Ship at the Edge of the Universe. And The Assassination of Jesse James by the Coward Robert Ford. Okay, prompt 11, characters to authors. This one I struggled with so much. So this was, take a book, take a main character's first name and match that with an author's first name, and then take the main character in that book and match it back to an author. Okay, so I actually ended up with a double link after all my struggles in this. I have too many books with not common names to go with authors. I guess that's what happens when you have a lot of fantasy books. There's not too many you can match with authors. So I've got North and South by Elizabeth Gaskell. So the main character's name is Margaret. So I have Sorcery of Thorns by Margaret Rogerson. And the main character in this is Elizabeth with an S, but I'm counting Elizabeth with a Z the same. So I'm back to another Elizabeth author, Elizabeth Moon, Trading in Danger. So that was probably the hardest one. I looked through so many books at names and tried to find authors, and even some common names just weren't working for me. But I'm glad I finally found some. Okay, prompt 12 is another linking one, Shiratori. Basically the last letter of the title is the first letter of the next title. So back to Juliet Marulia, I have the Amber Owl, which goes into Legion, then into Nevermore, The Trials of Morrigan Crow, which goes into We Are Legion, We Are Bob, which goes into Between Two Fires. And then prompt 13 is HRCYED mashup, which is taking a prompt from the first HRCYED, mixing it with a prompt from the second. I haven't researched this yet, so I will come back to this later on. Prompt 14, numerical titles. So we are counting up again, this time having the number in the title. So I have One Medicine, sneaking in a little bit more non-fiction. Between Two Fires. Three Kinds of Lucky. Four Nights with the Duke. Five Minds. Six Crimson Cranes. The Seven Skins of Esther Wilding. The Eight Mountains. I do not have any titles with 9 or 10 currently in my collection. And for the last one, the random number, I have 12 Doctors of Christmas. Okay, prompt 15, Rainbow of Colours. I am missing orange, yellow, purple and pink. So hopefully I can find some good things through the year. But I do have, I should probably have put these in order. Not that it matters, but I will do it anyway. So, The Red Winter. Love this cover so much. Anne of Green Gables. The Blue Blazers. White Gardenia. Blackwater Again. The Silver Blood Promise. And Jordan's son. Okay, and then we are on to prompt 16, animal families. This one, I found a few. Okay, so whale fall again. Whales are the cetaceans family. I have no idea how you pronounce these names. Then I have 6 crimson cranes. Cranes are the Gruidae. Yeah, we'll go with that. Then I have, this is happiness. There's a hair on it. I haven't looked up the name for that. And then off the chain for the cute dog for the canines. I haven't got the last one. I mean, it's probably going to be a cat. I probably should have easily been able to find a cat book, but for some reason I haven't done that yet. So blank space. Okay, prompt 17 is biomes and landscapes, and I struggled a bit with this one as well, but I have found a few. So I have The Abominable, which is for mountains. It's set on Mount Everest. So chunky. Why did I pick such a chunky book? Then I have Demon's Bluff for an urban setting. Northwoods, woodland setting, forest, whatever. And The Sweet Life for coastal. It's set in or at Cape Cod. So that is those ones. The Riri remix, or I think there's 3 Ris, but anyway. This one's a bit of a struggle too. This is retellings or from a different perspective. I need to research some more. I have multiple Beauty and the Beast retellings, but I thought I should do something separate for each one. So the Beauty and the Beast one I'm going with is A Curse of Beasts and Magic by Janine Frost. The paperback comes out in September, I think, so I will pick that up then. Then I have a reread, Wildwood Dancing. It's been 15 years or more since I read this. This is based on the 12 Dancing Princesses. And I have the Red Winter, which is a dark retelling of The Hunt for the Beast of Gavaudan. I don't know anything about that, but it tells me it's a retelling, so I am using it for the prompt. The food pyramid prompt I am also struggling with, even though I probably should have got one with a beverage on the cover. I was focusing more on food. So I do have Woman Eating by Claire Coda for fruit. And I do have The Sweet Life for some dessert style food. Prompt 20 is Mother Nature. I struggled with this one as well. I have 3 so far. So I do have one extreme one, Ride the Storm by Karen Chance. Nice bit of lightning there. I have Relative Silence, which has some fog on it, and Cloud Atlas for the clouds. So I have to do a bit of work on that. Prompt 21 is It's Your Birthday, and I could not find anything for this. So my birthday's in May, so I don't have any books with Emerald. Star sign is Gemini. I haven't really got any twin stories that I can think of. I can't remember what the flower is. It's something and hawthorn, and I don't have either. And then the birth tree is hawthorn tree, which I don't have. So that's going to be a hard one. I will work on that and research and see if I have anything, or otherwise I'll find something. Prompt 22 is backlist authors. So I have used this as a prompt to read books that are going to finish a series or make me up to date with a series, because I struggle with finishing series, but I love starting them. I have so many on the go, and I thought I should at least ones that I only have one book left, just read it and clear them off the list. So I have The Angel of Indian Lake. Of course, I have Don't Fear the Reaper for other prompts. But when I read that for those prompts, then I will complete the trilogy with this one. Seaglass Castle also completes a trilogy. Demon's Bluff gets me up to date on the Hollows, provided I read it before the next book comes out, which is sometime early next year. And the series that I've been talking about all year finishing so I can read the next series, and I still haven't got to it, The Trials of Empire by Richard Swan. I really, really need to get to this. I'm so excited to get into his next series. Okay, we're down to the last few. We're almost there. Prompt 23. I must endeavor to acquire these creatures. This is all based around Pokemon stuff. I don't know anything about Pokemon, so in some cases I've just gone with the name in the title for the different types, such as for Dark, the Dark Mirror, and Dragon, A Language of Dragons, Fire, Into the Fire, and Fairy, A Court of Thorns and Roses. Prompt 24, an anthology of authors. This is another favorite prompt for me. This is to read an anthology and then read 6 books from 6 authors in that anthology. So I have picked, I'm doing the Stephen King project with Liam, and The Stand is coming up in a few books' time. So I'll be reading it in the next year, and then I want to read The End of the World as We Know It, which is authors writing in the world of The Stand. Another very chunky book. This has a ton of authors in it. I have books by 3 of the authors already, which is Zero Saints by Gabino Iglesias, The Pallbearers Club by Paul Tremblay, and The Fervour by Alma Katsu. For the other 3 books, I'm going to see which authors stand out when I read their stories and go from there and pick 3 books. And prompt 25, Second Chances, Hidden Gems, is, you know, giving a book a second chance if you DNF'd it, or reading something that you wouldn't normally read. I haven't had a chance to look into this yet and think about it, so that one is another coming soon. But that is it. So I think there's like 65 or so books so far. I haven't been able to match some of them up to 2 prompts. So I may switch that up as I go, because I feel like having more than 70, like 7, yeah, I don't know. Maybe I'll just read and hope that things stand out as I read them, because yeah, as much as I would like to find a book for each prompt, I don't want to add and take away from other books. So I've added some that I just really want to read. So even if I only have them for 1 prompt, who cares? I just really want to read the books. And like I said, I don't care about completing it all, as nice as that would be. I know my reading limits, and I have some really big books to read, like The Stand. And that's 1,200 pages. That's going to take some time. So I don't want to overload myself. This is fun. I'm having fun. I love planning these things too. I think planning and figuring stuff out and deciding is half the fun in these. And I think maybe even more fun than just completing it. You have a sense of achievement, but you know, it's not as fun as the planning and the choosing and thinking about the different prompts. So yes, I will do some check-ins, but basically these books are books that I hope to read within the next 12 months that this challenge runs. I will be very happy to read a lot from my shelves, of course, knowing there's books I don't know I want to read yet. So we'll see how we go and see how those tricky ones go, like the particular colours and things. But yes, I look forward. I've been finding a bunch of people doing this challenge and subscribing to their channels, and I look forward to everyone's updates. I will do some updates, perhaps quarterly, to see where I'm at, and I'll be doing monthly wrap-ups with Liam, just to talk about what I'm reading each month. So I will be mentioning there any that relate to this challenge. And I will end this video now because it's probably already going to be pretty long, and I will see you next time. Thanks for watching. Of course, I had to knock something over.